Here we go, boys. Sol Badguy and Golem 11 once again, but this time with Mascot Hazel. So let's see how much damage he can deal with defense down applied on the Golem and greater attack buff from Mascot Hazel. I just got her specialty change. I mean, it's just that I powered up some of the runes that were not powered up before. Slap some gear onto her. She's a 5-star. Same with Sol Badguy. It should be fine. I mean, they're both fire, so that's much better. You should definitely use a full team of fire heroes that can... well, you're gonna need some healing. You're gonna need some defense down. Definitely will help in terms of boosting your team's damage. But attack down debuff is definitely a huge deal to reduce the amount of damage the Golem can deal against your team. Not only that, but if you can bring the decreased hit chance debuff, that is also huge because it allows the Golem to miss 50% of the time. And if you have a team of fire heroes, he's going to be at elemental disadvantage. So 2 chances to miss at 50% chance each is going to be great because he cannot land defense down, he cannot land stun if he's at elemental disadvantage, and also he's going to deal 75% damage. He cannot land a crushing hit or a critical hit, so that's very, very good. Now, like, my 2 earth heroes are taking 30% damage increase. The fire heroes are dealing 30% more damage. But here, let's see how much damage it deals. There's no defense down, there's no attack buff on him. It's definitely not that much. But at least, I mean, at least we're still alive. Let's see if I can keep it that way. I did actually a bunch of runs with this team, and it's fairly consistent. But to be honest, I haven't done Golem a bunch. Here's the damage. Oh, how much is it? 30,000. That's without greater attack buff. He is built for dealing as much damage as possible with the skill 2 and skill 3. They do damage based on the target's max health, same as Daydream Joker, which he is wearing. So yeah, those numbers are really strong. How much was that? 30,000. That was a dual attack as well, but was it from Hazel? Yeah, it was mostly from him. So let's see here the breakdown. Okay, Bellona is doing more damage than she was before. That attack buff is most likely helping in that department. But let's... no, I cannot turn off her skills, really, guys. It's better if you have high uptime on your defense down debuff. If you turn off her skills, she's gonna use skill 1 more often, and it's gonna in turn deal more damage overall because skill 1 deals damage based on the target's max health. Now, talking about Sol Badguy, his skill 1 multiplier is 187% plus 20% more damage if the target has no buff. So that is very big. Like 20% more damage on top of that 187% is definitely gonna help. He doesn't have any skill ups. So when I build him, because I will build him, I will skill him up later on. Now I have bigger priorities, but I will eventually skill him up. He's just too good unless he gets nerfed, but I doubt they're gonna nerf him, guys. So you should definitely work on investing in him and slapping some good gear onto him, especially if you are struggling in Golem 11. This is a great place to farm. And yeah, I mean, it could be your first stage 11 that you farm. Sol Badguy can be used in Wyvern 10 and below very effectively. 11 is a bit more rough because the Wyvern is going to be getting 10% combat readiness every time a non-ice hero goes. So it might be harder to deal with the Wyvern. But anyway, see, I have a video for that. Oh, let's see the damage here. No attack buff though, 21,000. I have a video for that. I'm actually doing Sol versus Alexa, which is like a god tier damage dealer for Wyvern, and you should check that out. If you haven't before. No attack buff, no defense down. My God, it's unfortunate, but we saw the damage really from the first battle. Now the thing is, like, he didn't have attack buff. But I guess I'll just keep on trying different group compositions. To be honest, this group is not as solid as I'd like it to be. I definitely need to, if I can get attack down debuff, I will build my Requiem Roar and bring her in here. I feel like it's going to be way more stable with her. That attack down debuff is a huge deal, but she also helps with the healing. If I have Celestine on her or One Just Potion Vial to clear debuff, it should work out just fine. It's just I don't have skill ups onto her for a higher chance of landing defense down and attack down debuff. But she has the two strongest debuffs, one for offense and one for defense. I'm gonna show my gear here, and yeah, skill ups first. So Bellona, she's using Bloodstone. Of course, if I had Bellona on Daydream Joker, she would deal more damage. Or if I had her on Rosa Hargana, she would trigger dual attacks more often. But I mean, Bloodstone is just fine to increase the team's survival. Let's just go Sol here. Skill ups, he doesn't have any. Destina, and finally Hazel, no skill up. She's using Rod. I could use other artifacts, but I just slapped that onto her because felt like I probably needed extra healing output. But I could use Wondrous Potion Vial to clear those defense down debuff more often. Wait, so stats. Crit damage on Bellona is not that high, so her skill 1 damage based on the target's max health is not scaling that high. Actually, I didn't finish with the multiplier on Sol Badguy. Skill 2 is 187%, plus it deals 4% of the target's max health and damage. So that is huge. Skill 2 is the passive. And get on to the next. So Sol. And skill 3 multiplier is 299%. It also deals 5% of the target's max health. And yeah, I mean, anything that scales with target max health is a huge deal. The higher the health pool of the target is at, and you just use Daydream Joker. This one is maxed out. This plus his 2 skills that scale off target max HP is just huge. So what you want to do is get 100% crit chance. So when you land a critical hit, it actually scales with your critical hit damage. I mean, his damage, the damage multiplier, plus the damage that scales based on the target's max health of his skill, plus the Daydream Joker, so it becomes pretty crazy. And you want to have 55% effectiveness when you're fighting targets with 70% effect resistance, which is, I mean, the most monsters in high level of play in PvE. So yeah, 55% effectiveness is the sweet spot. Now, of course, you need some defensive stats. It's pretty low at 5-star, but it's good enough, I guess, as a fire hero in Golem. 11, and his attack is not that big of a deal because I mean, it's mostly about that target, that damage, that percentage damage against max target health. So yeah, and you should apply defense down debuff. That's a huge deal. It's gonna roughly double your damage output against the target. And it works with damage based on target's max health. So definitely try to have a high uptime on defense down debuff. My team composition didn't have that big of an uptime. So if I go and I just slap some gear on Requiem Roar. So I got Celestine, and attack down debuff is going to be huge. And defense down debuff is also going to be huge. So she could definitely be... she's really good in Golem 11. And I mean, she's Dark Element, so she's gonna take more damage, but she doesn't have to deal with elemental disadvantage, and she can be used in multiple areas of the game. PvP is actually a very good area where she shines in. And yeah, I mean, going back to Sol, I would say he's definitely a hero that you should invest in. Like, if you are struggling in Golem, like, you should 100% invest in Sol. You should, and during the event, you should try to get his memory imprint as high as possible. This is free stats for your team. Like, if you use him in a few areas, let's say you use him in the first stage 11 that you can clear, let's say it's Golem, so definitely gonna work. here, gonna increase the defense of, you could put I mean, the squishiest target on your team at the top, and you got your tank in the front position. Now, if you use him, the more you use him, the more it's gonna be useful, of course. Like if you start using him in Guild Wars, in Arena, you start using him in your raids, your labyrinths, in the Abyss, he can be very efficient in the Abyss because he deals damage based on the target's max health. So that's definitely a huge deal. And I mean, in Wyvern stage 10 and below, you should use Junkyard Dog. Is that how it's called? Junkyard Dog, because that's another debuff that he can apply on top of the unable to be buff debuff. So that's really huge, because when the Wyvern has 2 debuffs, it just deals so much less damage. And I mean, between stage 1 and what is it, 7, 8, 9, yeah, 7, you only need to land 1 debuff. So I mean, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be great there. It's just an 11, he gives combat readiness to the Wyvern. But check my video out, he definitely deals a ton of damage. It's actually quite incredible how much damage he can actually dish out. And I'm so glad he's free. Got free written on his belt. He's wielding that that lighter like a boss. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one, guys. I'm Astranox. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Press the bell icon if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video, and check out my other videos. They should be showing up on the screen now. Got playlists of all sorts: Arena, Guild War, guides, tips and how-tos, and also Abyss Floor 62 Plus. If you're struggling in there, check those out, guys. A lot of information, fight mechanics, and team compositions, what you should bring, and all that, and what kind of stats you need to defeat these floors. So yeah, check those out if you haven't before, and if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, guys. That's it for this one. Peace out for now.